You were named Best Comedian. I wanted to start by just asking you, what is it like to be a bad bitch? And how did we become one?
I was like, I can't go to New York and be a comedian. I'm going to starve. I'm going to fail. And, here we are. Miami is a funny city to grow up in. Miami made me a good soldier on stage. Someone's going to pop a bottle. Someone's going to yell at the stage. Heckling isn't even the worst of it. I think with comedy, inherently, the reason why it doesn't work as well down here is because you have to allow yourself outside of your own limitations. These are people that haven't left the city. Stop hating transplants because they're injecting a new perspective. First off, we're bringing business to your city, so get over it. Rent's always bad in a major city. It was a matter of time. I was in a physically and emotionally abusive relationship in my mid-20s. I was one of those people that swore they would never go through something like this. And the universe was like, you're going to learn some lessons. But the reality is these abusers are textbook. You are not the broken one. You are the one that's responding normally to an abnormal situation.
Well, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
This is great coffee.
Isn't it?
Who made this?
Mindspace, guys. Plug in the sponsor.
Mindspace. They don't pay me, but they pay somebody here. No, I'm kidding.
There we go. Okay. I couldn't think.
Leave it. Keep rolling. I don't give a shit. No, keep rolling. Truly.
I could not think of a better way to start this.
I thought-
She just spelled coffee all over her white shirt, and now we see her broad. Guys, if you cannot see this, if you're just listening to this, you are missing out.
Look at that.
You are missing out. I don't even think it's gonna be visible because
Look,
Yeah.
it doesn't even
you
matter.
fixed it though.
Yeah,
It's
I fixed it. I
perfect.
flipped it inside out. It's fine. I have had so much coffee today to
There
get
you
through
go.
my entire day.
You're jittery now.
No, I'm a rocket ship. Thank you so much. Can you even tell? Just lie to me and say no.
What a great start!
What
huh?
an amazing start. I'm
I
only
love
on my
that.
fourth cafecito today, so that makes sense.
You know, usually I'm the one who does something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think last time, didn't I drop water last time? I'm pretty sure I did.
Better to drop water than to drop brown coffee on your white tube top
Yeah,
that you got at Rainbow.
that's very true. Oh my God. Well, anyway, I wanted to start by just asking you, what is it like to be a bad bitch? And how do we become one?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a loaded question. Bad bitches steal their husband's bank account number.
Ooh.
Wear high heels every chance they get. They're savage. They stop it. No, I'm kidding. I think the term bad bitch gets so overused in pop culture. I feel like we've put bad bitch on sweatpants and on throw pillows and on mugs. And much like the word love or other words, after a while, when you overuse it too much, it just kind of becomes diluted and people forget what it could actually mean or what it does actually mean. For me, like bad bitch, I'm assuming this is coming from my bad bitch brunch that I run.
Yes, which was a lot of fun.
Thank
A
you.
lot of fun. I had
Thank
a
you.
great time. You gotta go. You just must go. It is a must in Miami, and it was so much fun. I laughed so much, and I was so hyped up on that. Very different than a regular stand-up, so I think the girls are gonna like it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a variety show. It's one part stand-up, very, I still want to keep the stand-up in it because I want to showcase as much like female and
Please don't
gay,
lose the stand-up because
queer yeah. Like I think it grounds the show a little bit. You get to hear from like 5 voices from that city or that scene that really contribute to the conversation in an important way. And then once we get through the stand-up, it's very interactive and fun and wild. And I guess coming from that show, a bad bitch is definitely always someone who's not going to take anything from anyone, someone who's comfortable in their own skin. I would say that's the biggest thing. The Bad Bitch Brunch has taught everybody who's attended it or performed on it to be really ultimately comfortable in your own skin and to really like advocate for yourself. The story behind it, and this is very Miami coded.
Okay.
I'm not going to name drop because my mom taught me better than that, as the Destiny Child said. But I did start that show while I was working for an Instagram page media company down here in Miami that I'm sure everyone's very familiar with. And I started it because we had a weekend's worth of shows and I was the only woman on every lineup. And I called bullshit. One day we were having a lunch meeting in Doral, and I said, why am I the only girl on all these shows? Why is there no programming for girls? It's the same rotation of 4 or 5 men that are on all these lineups. And the founder of that company said, I can give you like a brunch show. You want to do like a brunch show? I said, yeah, I do. Call it the Bad Bitch Brunch. And truly, I had in mind just an all-female lineup and a show that happens to take place at brunch. Like that was it. That was the extent of it. And then Miami made that show what it is, and maybe even taught me what a bad bitch is, because all of a sudden it was more than stand-up. We had a DJ, we had women twerking, crying, screaming, wanting to get on stage, really letting loose in those 2 to 3 hours. And I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something here. And I did one other show under the umbrella of that company, and unfortunately the very toxic, sexist, misogynist that runs that company would tell me in the moment that I had $1 million concept, and then a week or so later tell me, I don't really buy this. I don't think it's ever going to hold up. Blah, blah, blah. This is the same man that fucked me out of money.
Oh my God.
This is the same man that paid the boys who worked for that Instagram page $1,500, paid me $400. When I called him out on it, he was like, what the fuck are you guys doing discussing money? That's the problem. You guys talk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And every time I tried to advocate for the Bad Bitch Brunch, I got told, yeah, we get it. Your whole thing is you hate men and you're angry. And like, just like classic, kind of boring misogynist rhetoric. And I was like, yeah, okay, buddy. And then I took it. I just quit that company amicably as I could. And I took the show back and I trademarked it. So the Bad Bitch Bash, Bad Bitch Brunch, Brittany Brave Presents, all of that is all U.S. copyright trademarked. And it's mine. But I do think it's interesting. Long story short, that it started under the hands of someone who would never know what to do with a show like that.
That's a very powerful backstory, to be honest, because everything that Bad Bitch just stands for, right? Like, that's pretty much it. Like, you just took it and you're like, I don't need you guys. Like, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
And my audience will get it. You don't need to get it. You're the dudes. Like, you're not my audience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
And I was just talking to somebody last night who was like, well, do you think you maybe messed up a business relationship? Or like, you know, maybe like the brunches in Miami maybe had more attendance when I was working with this company. But for me, it's a quality versus quantity thing where it's like, I would rather have less people there, but people who understand the show, rather than have my soul and my integrity die because like this show is being presented under the hands of a guy who is homophobic and a guy who is sexist and a guy who doesn't pay his female employees correctly and doesn't understand. So it almost felt like I broke free when I took the show away. And I was like, you shouldn't have this show or whatever you think this show is. It's mine, you know? So
it would already have like the wrong foundation to begin with if you were to keep it that way with them.
Right. It's rotten from the ground up. Right. Exactly. So, it's only thrived since then, and I've only been able to get even more creative with it. But yeah, to answer your question, I think Bad Bitch isn't looking hot. Bad Bitch isn't, I posted a thirst trap. Bad Bitch isn't like, I'm sassy. Like, bad bitches like show up for people in their life and work hard and stick to their values even when they're getting challenged to not. Like, that's really what those things are at the core. There's just got to be a better way to say it.
Okay, we got to watch and learn. I definitely got to watch and learn.
No, you don't. You're a bad bitch. You already know.
So, well, you were named Best Comedian, right? You were named, you got the Best Act, right?
Yeah.
By, like, I think it was Time Out.
Yep.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Thanks. Thank you.
What have been some of your, like, latest, like, milestones that you've hit in your career?
Honestly, every day that you wake up in a creative pursuit and you don't quit is a milestone. To be really honest, every day that you wake up and you don't see the results that you immediately want to see, or every day you wake up and you keep creating even though you don't feel creative, is truly the milestone. Like, I have learned over time, and I could list things. I could list a lot of things that I'm like, I'm super proud of this, I'm super proud of that. I'm doing a special taping in 2 days in San Diego with Don't Tell Comedy. That's awesome. Like, that's like, I'm so excited about that. You know, there are these concrete milestones, but once you've been in this business for a little bit of time, I think any person who's an entrepreneur, a creative, or both, stamina is the real milestone. Like, truly getting back up and trying again, getting back up and writing again, getting back up and trying to do this again. You know, when Nobody's motivating you. Nobody's pushing you. You're not a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher. We need art, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so every day that you self-motivate and you show up again is a milestone.
It is for you. You're choosing yourself every time you do
You're betting
that.
on yourself.
Yeah, which is extremely hard
Yeah.
because people will cringe at you at the beginning. They will, like, I'm sure you had that. I'm sure you have a lot of stories in the beginning, right? That you've had people probably like, what are you doing?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And you still had to get through that and you had to keep going. In that sense, I would say I am a bad bitch because I kept going with my creative endeavors, and it wasn't always easy, and friends and family didn't always get it, but I kept going. And now I'm happy that I'm at a place in which I can live off of that.
Yeah.
Which is like insane to even think about, right? When I started, I never even thought it would get that far, but it happened. So
that is a huge goal.
It's worth it.
It's always worth it, 100%. And that's a huge goal that I think gets overlooked a lot of the time too, is that if you get to a point where you can sustain yourself on any level from your creative pursuits and from your passion, that is like that's a really, really, really big win.
It
like
is.
maybe you aspire for bigger things or fame and that's all fine, well and good. That's great. But getting to a point where you're booked and you're in demand and you're busy and you have things that you're working on and you can financially support yourself on some sort of level from the things you're working on, that's really huge and like should not be overlooked.
Yeah, because you're not getting into it. I mean, unless you're getting into it to be famous or have like huge success, like you're getting into it because you love it, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get to a point in which you can actually do that every day and pay your bills, I think that should be the goal, right?
And continue to love it and not hate it.
Yeah.
And not resent it and not let the magic leave your eyes. Like, because it can happen, like you're tired, the industry, all the other things that really don't matter weigh you down. And then you have a couple shows one night and you're like, I don't even feel like getting on stage.
I can't imagine that. How is that? Like, do you like sometimes just... Are you always kind of excited to do it? Like sometimes you have to hype yourself up?
No, I'm not always excited. It's become my job.
Yeah.
And once it becomes your job, it's like any other job where it comes with pressure and monotony and routine. And you feel guilty saying this because you're like, I once like hoped for this, prayed for this. Like I once wanted this and now I have it. But it's when it becomes your job and you have to show up every single day, and performing is fucking exhausting. It's a massive energy exchange between you and a group of strangers. It's adrenaline. It's your whole being. It's who you are. Like all of these things. So it's like, yeah, of course there's nights where you're like, I don't feel funny. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get on stage. There's not a lot of people in the crowd. The crowd is weird, whatever. But what I will always say is, once I do get on stage, I feel better afterwards. And that's how I know that I'm headed in the right direction. You know what I mean? It's always worth it afterwards. Even if I was like, I was tired and I didn't feel like it and I had a bad day or whatever, I always feel better and more fulfilled after getting on stage, which I think is a good sign.
It is.
But I think creatives need to normalize that. Creatives need to normalize it's okay to wake up and hate the very thing that you love the most. That's marriage, right? Isn't that marriage? Marriage is like rolling over to the person that you like just swore your life
you're
to.
just like, what the hell am I even doing here?
I fucking hate you. Get away from me. I signed an agreement in my bank account over to you, but you still show up for it. And I think it's not that far off from like your creative pursuit.
Well, that's the thing, and I tend to say this quite a bit because it kind of clicked for me very recently, which is loving what you do doesn't necessarily make it easier, the job you're doing.
No.
It just makes it harder to give up.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Like, okay, I'm not going to give up so easily because I love this so much.
Right.
And I am like so obsessed with this.
Yes. I would say, not to go back to pulling a comparison to romantic relationships as well, not to continue to compare career and romantic relationships, but the one thing with stand-up and comedy in general, but stand-up, was I was willing to fail at it. I would fail at it, as you do in any creative pursuit. You bomb, you have off nights, you don't get something you audition for. And even after failure and whatever that did to my ego or whatever rejection did to my headspace, I still wanted to try again. I still wanted to, and my best day in stand-up beat my best day in any other job I've ever had. And even my worst day in stand-up was better than some of my best days in any other job I've ever had. So it's the thing I think that you're willing to get knocked down for and stand back up for. And like if you compare it to your relationships, friends, or like romantic, it's the thing that you're willing to have bad days for. It's the thing that because you trust in the greater
purpose of
it all. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew that it was for me, because I would fail at this thing and I would still really, really, really love it and want to do better for it and try again.
Which reminds me, I've been trying to convince a lot of the girls that I've met here to try improv, because you know, I started it in LA. I did a little bit at Second City.
Yeah, great.
And
Second City in Chicago. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
However, the pandemic hit, and then I was like, okay, I don't see it. They were doing it online, and I'm like, I don't see the point anymore. Like, for me, I need to be there in person. I don't have a
improv
problem.
online.
No, they changed to online when the pandemic hit, and I was like, there's no point here, because I'm not like putting myself out there. I'm behind the camera, behind the thing. Like I can be, you know, nervous, whatever. I actually wanted to put myself in the middle of that and try it. And since then I moved here, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to find something like that I can do here, but I want to bring it to my community, because there are so many girls like me, and I'm like, hey, improv will help you.
Yeah.
Like, it will help you.
I used to teach improv, so I've done so much. Improv was my gateway into comedy. Well, I mean, I loved comedy, but improv was the thing that I fell in love with. In middle school, I had really lucky to have drama teachers and theater teachers that really believed in comedy and believed in improv, so they would work improv exercises into the plays we were doing or into our rehearsals and stuff. So funny, the meeting I had right before this was in Kendall, and I ran into one of my high school drama teachers, and I haven't seen her in a couple years, and it like brought tears to my eyes, and I like joked with her, and I was like, you're the reason. She's like, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, you're the reason this is all happening. And I was like, and I love and hate you for. I'm kidding, obviously. I'm like, how dare you? You ruined my life. And she's like, I know, right? You know, whatever. But I love improv. And after doing so much of it at like IO and Second City and UCB and everything, I actually made my own program in New York for 2 years. And I did like a find your funny little crash course for people who always wanted to do improv, but maybe we're like, I don't know if I want to be a professional comedian. I just want to do this thing and feel it out. So I did it way cheaper, way quicker of an intensive. I can't recommend improv enough for people. It's such a good, like, throw you in the deep end.
Yeah, and most people think it's just because of, like, okay, you only do it if you want to become, like, you know, a comic or something like that. And it's like, no, I've seen it, like, so many different things that I'm learning about, like, negotiating, like, you know, good communication skills. It's all improv.
Yeah.
It's all that game, you know, that dance back and forth. And you need to know how to be able to go through that.
Build on someone's ideas and take something from A to B to C. Of course,
exactly.
100%. I will say this. I don't know anybody who does stand-up leisurely. I'm going to call this out. People that are like, I do stand-up every now and again. Like mostly men that I go on dates with from Hinge. That are like, I did it once and it went all right. And I'm like, okay, cool. I hate you. You know, I don't know a world in which you can do stand-up leisurely because it's so harsh and there really is no course, I think, that can really fully teach you. Like, you're just, you know, but improv, totally. Improv I think improv is a skill for the tool belt, and stand-up is like, I don't know the word. I don't even want to have improvisers hate me in the comment threads, but I just don't understand people that do improv leisurely. I mean, stand-up leisurely. I'm always like, how do you do that? It's so hard.
No, you have to keep showing up. And like, because that's the thing, like, if you're going to, I would assume you have to flop enough times until you get good.
Yeah, right? And even when you're good, you still are going to flop, and you're still going to have weird crowds, and no two crowds are the same. So it's like, how are you... It's just one of those things that I'm like, if you're not doing it all the time, stand up, I don't think you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't like get up once every 6 months at a bringer show that you have 10 of your closest friends at, and you're like, I killed. And it's like, yeah, because your 10 high school best friends are in the crowd. You're not a comic. Like, I need you to get up on a bar show in the East Village in New York with 4 people. 3 of them are hammered. 1 of them doesn't speak English. And I want you to get them to connect with you and laugh. Then maybe you're doing it, you know?
Right.
But that's just my personal gripes with improv and stand-up.
Yeah, but improv is fine. You can do
I
it.
love improv.
Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
It is worth it. I mean, we were talking about Miami and you're talking about like how you started. Like, tell me a little bit about that. You were born here?
I was born in New York, technically.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, but I was raised in West Kendall.
Okay.
Like raised. Like
I mean, okay, good. Okay,
elementary,
that's
middle.
okay. You'll pass it. The locals won't hate you as much as they hate us.
I was just born up there because my mom was from there, my dad was from there, and they wanted me to be born up there with my grandmother and everything. But I was raised West Kendall. Like they brought me back down when I was like 3 months old or something, however early I could fly.
Right.
But I went to elementary, middle, and high school down here. You know, I hung out at Sunset Place and the Virgin Megastore, and my first job was at the Barnes and Noble on Kendall Drive.
There we go.
Though I have Kendall tattooed on my titty, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm Kendall. Like, I grew up on Pitbull and all that kind of stuff. But I did theater and improv and competitive dance and all the other things when I was growing up. And I never thought I would do stand-up, and then I started in New York City. But I didn't move to New York for comedy. I moved to New York for a very big girl PR job. Because I was too scared to be a comedian.
Like a corporate job?
Mm-hmm. Corporate PR. I worked at Sony Music as a publicist.
Oh, wow.
And Columbia Records doing PR for bands and singer-songwriters and stuff. I loved it. Like, I loved it at the time contextually, but I was completely I was a performer. So after a while, I was like, I don't want to write about other performers. I want to be the performer.
That's
like,
true.
what? But I had convinced myself, as a lot of people do, a lot of children of immigrants do too, that being an artist isn't a real job. So I was like, I can't go to New York and be a comedian. I'm going to starve. I'm going to fail. This is never going to. And, you know, here we are. So, yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, here you are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So talking about, you know, how you started on comedy and everything, like, how do you think, like, Miami shaped your comedy?
Miami is a funny city to grow up in. So I'll start there. It's unlike any other place. Like, whenever you see Miami in music videos or you see it in, like, sketches or ads or whatever media you consume, and it's so hyperbolic and it's so attention grabbing and it's so exaggerated, there's the one part of you that grew up in Miami that's like, that's not, like, I grew up in West Kendall. Like, I'm like, that was not my life. I was not surrounded by boats and hoes. Like, there's a fucking Longhorn Steakhouse on the block I grew up on.
My partner here, he grew up in Kendall too.
Yeah, I know. He went to my rival high school.
Except he was all about the boats and hoes. So
what guy isn't? I mean, really.
Yes. So that was that side of it.
And now he's creative and introspective.
Exactly. He went to LA and he changed.
Right, he changed. Yeah. Oh, I don't want too many Erewhon smoothies. And now he's a different man. He's a different man. That's how it happens. But I think anybody who grows up in Miami can agree, like, when you see that stuff, like a Pitbull music video or whatever, or a postcard or a photo reel of someone's bachelor party, on the one hand, you're like, that's not Miami. That's not the Miami I grew up in. Like, that's not my home. That's not what I connected with or my life. But also, it is, right? Like, it is.
It's always there.
It's always there. Like, so it's like, you're like, I also can't deny that I can't say it's not fully that either. Because Miami can be a very, like, flashy, exaggerated, surface level city. So I think intrinsically growing up in a place like this is going to make you a funny person. It's going to give you things to talk about because it's Miami's ridiculous in amazing ways and in terrible ways. It's a crazy, ridiculous, over the top city. But as a professional comic, I always say that I think, like, I'm so glad I got started in New York because I laid this foundation and I was surrounded by the best comedians in the world. And then it was about writing and reps and jokes and a POV and a comic, you know? Yeah. But, like, Miami made me, like, a good soldier on stage because the crowds are terrible.
Tell me about that. Do you have any experience like that was like heckling or a bomb or something?
More often than not in Miami, you're going to deal with, I mean, people will, even just like my friends who visit from out of town will watch Miami crowds and they'll be like, there are people having complete conversations while someone's on stage, And I'm like, yeah, I know. And you know what? That's not even the worst of what's going to happen. Like, someone's going to pop a bottle. Someone's going to take a selfie. Someone's going to yell at the stage. Someone's going to bring Club 11 energy to Miami Improv and Doral. And you're going to be like, can you fucking not? Like, I'm like trying to like show you.
Where are the TDs?
Right, literally. So like Miami audiences for sure, like we are going to be stunted as a comedy scene until Miami checks itself with how rude it is and how rude it is at live performances, point blank. Like the comedians are never going to get better, the shows are never going to get better, the scene is never going to get better until Miami audiences meet the comedians halfway. Because what that's going to do is allow the actual good comedians to work on their material and grow. And it's going to challenge the comedians that are cutting corners and only talking about Latino culture, Miami culture, or doing dirty crowd work. They're going to be like, oh, wait, they're listening now. I have to maybe have something to fucking say. Like, it's a song and dance between the two.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And Miami is a high profile city. So I'll tell you, like, all my material about the city works everywhere. The stereotypes about Miami ring true. Like, you don't need to really over explain them.
Yeah.
In a lot of other markets across the US, like, people hear Miami and they're like, oh yeah, I already know what you're talking about, you know. But it made me tough, dude. It made me tough as a comic, like, because you have to, it's like playing a game of whack-a-mole every time you're on stage. You're like, wait a minute, okay, they're just not listening. Like, you're like, oh, okay, like.
So why do you think that, you know, people in Miami don't appreciate it? I mean, when I say people in Miami, I'll have to say this. New Miami Girls has taught me that we're not the same, because we come from like New York, LA, Texas, all over the place. And I feel like the people that I've met very much appreciate it. They very much appreciate all, you know, culture-wise, like they like all that kind of stuff. Also, the locals that are part of the community as well, of course. But, you know, people that are searching our community already are searching it because they're looking for a different stereotype than the one that they know here, right?
Yeah.
So usually, I have high hopes, and I already see like even some bands coming that used to not come here for what I've
There's
heard.
a lot
right?
of comedians that refuse to come down
I know.
here.
I was gonna ask that. Why do they hate Miami so much?
Because of what I just said. Because the crowds are fucking rude. The crowds are rude.
How can we change that? Okay, let's a little moment to educate. Okay, because I've tried to tell people about heckling. Right, I went with this couple of friends to this comedy show. They were kind of drunk, you know, of course that can happen.
Of course, right.
But they were like interacting with the comic, and I was so uncomfortable, and I was like, guys, like, that's heckling. What is that? It's heckling. That's called heckling. You don't do that. You're not supposed to be doing that unless they call for it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess if you were to say to people like the one thing that would help, you know, you on stage or any other comedian here in Miami, so people can truly appreciate the performance and the experience, what would it be like?
It's not about you. That's what I would say to Miami audience members. You know, there's got to be an appreciation for stand-up, and I think we're still working on that, and I think we're still building that, and we're going to build that through clubs that are opening up, and we're going to build that through a documentary that's being made. We're going to build that through great comedians coming in and out of Miami, and really coming out of Miami and kind of setting the tone, you know. But there isn't a general appreciation for comedy or an understanding for comedy. And I think that's been our biggest uphill battle. Whereas in New York City, it's kind of a known art form there. That's where the best comedians are. And then in Miami, they're like, oh my God, comedy? Yeah. Okay, but also like Bad Bunny, and also Club 11, and also let's go to the Gables, and all, like, it's just so many like distractions and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, it may never take off. It may not. It might not end up being the Mecca that New York is, or Chicago, or LA, or Austin, even, you know. But I think you had something interesting with like the new Miami Girls concept. I think transplants that aren't initially from Miami, or people that are here for a certain reason, I think they're the ones that have the appreciation for comedy, because they want to hear other perspectives and laugh and listen and know how to. It really is Miami locals that you're like, oh my God, you don't know how to behave, but you can't blame them because they didn't grow up with comedy clubs on every corner. They didn't grow up with famous stand-up comedians coming out of their city. So this is a new thing for them to kind of acclimate to, you know what I mean? Whereas New Yorkers, it's like, oh, well, there's a comedy club on every block, and
they've been
I'm used
educated.
to it.
They've been educated
Right.
because there has been one comedian that maybe a comic that's comfortable with saying, hey, like, you don't do this. Because no one's going to be, I could imagine, like...
It's not even just the heckling, though. Because the heckling is annoying, and heckling is annoying no matter what. But sometimes heckling can be fun if you can handle it. Like, I personally don't hate it. If you're going to be... I've done enough improv, and no two of my sets are the same, that if I get heckled, it doesn't really rattle me anymore. Unless I get heckled with an asshole saying something completely mean and out of pocket, then I'm like, okay, now I got to handle this guy. It's usually a guy, to be honest. Or a woman. It could be a woman, too, to be honest. I've had some white women that have gone off on me. But heckling isn't even the worst of it. Sometimes it's just looking out at a Miami crowd and being like, they haven't taken a second to learn anything that isn't Miami. They haven't taken a second to explore anything that isn't their culture. Yeah. These are people that haven't left the city. These are people that haven't, and I know you want to hate transplants, Miami people. You want to hate those damn New Yorkers and LA people. You should be happy that they're coming to the city. Because they're bringing other things to you. You want it. Miami is diverse only within the confines of itself. Like, as a white girl who's Italian and like not Hispanic, like, yeah, Miami's diverse across like Hispanic and Haitian and maybe like Jewish denominations, but it's not diverse. It's still mostly Hispanic. It's still mostly people who were born and raised in Miami or have never left Miami. They live in a bubble. So I think with comedy, inherently, the reason why it doesn't work as well down here is because you have to like allow yourself outside of your own mind for a second and outside of your own limitations. So I would say to Miami people, stop hating the transplants. Stop. Because first off, we're bringing business to your city, so get over it, okay? And you're raising our rent. I've lived in New York on and off for 8 years. Rent's always bad in a major city. Get over it. Rent's bad in LA.
It was a matter of time.
It was a matter of time. Get over it. You can't want growth for your city and not want the rent prices to go up. Which one do you want? You have to like compromise with yourself. But stop hating transplants because they're injecting a new perspective. They're injecting a new POV. There's something else for you to, versus you guys. That's why we only breed comedians down here that are like, oh, the traffic on the Palmetto and I love croquetas and the Marlins suck, right? Like, that's because these are people who haven't like ventured out. Like, so Miami, you can't call yourself diverse if that's how you're gonna behave, you know?
True. And I mean, a lot of the new people, they care.
Yeah.
They actually care about the local community.
Totally.
They're the ones out there volunteering. They're the ones doing beach cleanups. They're the ones that, like, the girls that I come across, they're like always getting involved in different things like that. Yeah. It's like they're being good citizens. Like, why wouldn't you want people like that here?
100%. And a lot of them are trying to adopt Miami as their new home. And I think the reason is you hate your transplants or you hate those damn New Yorkers or whatever it is because like you don't understand it. So you're immediately, and that's a very common thing. Like when people don't immediately understand something, they're quick to just kind of be like, it sucks and shut it off. But that's not how anybody lives and grows.
You gotta be open, but eventually.
Yeah, the rudest people at my comedy shows, I'm going to tell you right now, are not New Yorkers. The rudest people at my comedy shows are not transplants from even just Broward or West Palm. The rudest people are the Miami grown people that are arguing with me or yelling at me or popping bottles. And I'm like, guys, this is how you're treating another fellow Miamian who's trying to do something. Like you have to, it's frustrating.
We'll change this. We'll change it. I promise you.
I've tried for 3 years. Good luck.
A year from now, we're gonna do another conversation, and things are gonna be a little bit different.
I mean, I will say this:
we're gonna pull the weight. We're gonna make things.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing the best that I can. I will say this: the crowds, I have noticed an upswing. Crowds have learned how to behave a little bit more since I first relocated back to Miami and was doing comedy. I will say that, but. You know, I will even call my friends out whenever they're like, God, you're such a hater for Miami audiences or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not wrong. Sorry. I'm not wrong. That's a crazy way to behave at a comedy show. Like,
Yeah.
they need to...
Someone has to call it out.
Someone has to call it out. I'm not wrong, because I travel across the country for the last 2 years. I've been on a headline tour, and I've had more fun sometimes in Iowa City and Fargo, North Dakota. I don't even know where those cities are on a fucking map. And I've had more fun there than in my own fucking hometown of Miami, Florida, because I'm like, you guys are stupid. You're not listening. Like, this is disrespectful now. But we're heading in the right direction.
We are.
I'm positive. I am.
Yeah, you should be.
Yes.
All right, so a little bit more of like a serious topic.
Yeah.
And only because I've seen that you're public about it, like you actually talk about it, and I think that
Surviving domestic violence.
Yeah. First of all, what did you go through?
Yeah.
Right? Like, in going through that stuff, how do you feel like it shaped you as a person in a comic?
Totally. There's definitely 2 chapters of Brittany Brave. You know, there's like a before Christ and after Christ. There's
The catalyst.
the catalyst. Exactly. There's the before this relationship and after this relationship, for sure. I was in a really physically, and along with that always comes mentally and emotionally abusive relationship for the better part of 3 years in my mid-20s. First off, I'll say this. I was one of those people that put their foot in their mouth and swore that they would never go through something like this. And my life has really been defined by a lot of those experiences. It's been defined by a lot of me being like, oh, I'll never get pregnant unplanned. I'll never need an abortion. I'll never date a man that hits me. I'll never make this mistake. I'll never let this happen. I'll never do that. And, you know, the universe was like, oh, yeah, well, you're going to learn today. You're going to learn some lessons. You know what I mean?
Sneaks up on you.
Sneaks up on you. Yeah. So I went through that relationship in my 20s, completely unexpected, young, in love. Did not, unfortunately, know his long-standing history of doing this to many women and criminal record as well, too. I joke about it in my act, but I'm like, you know, run a background check on people before you
Seriously, especially Miami.
Well, he wasn't in Miami. I was in New York at the time.
Okay.
He was between LA and New York, but they travel. They get around, these guys. Yeah, my life just like collapsed, you know, as it does when you're in a relationship like that. You know, I lost friends. I became really distant from my family. I lost a ton of weight. I was incredibly unhealthy. My drinking was out of control in that relationship. He was abusive on every level possible. It was this big, we're together, we're not, we're together, we're not. You know, it's cyclical, these things. And what you'll often find too, when you're in situations like this, you can feel alone and you can feel like you're the only person, or you're stupid, or you let yourself fall victim to something. But the reality is, when you take a step back, and especially when you get out of those relationships, these men and these abusers, I'll even just say, are textbook. A lot of these things are very textbook, and they're a lot of people you can talk to. Oh, did he say this? Did he do that? Did he say he was this guy, but then it ended up being that guy? Were you not allowed to do this? Were you not? So
Gaslighting and everything.
Everything. You're not alone. You're not alone, and you are not the broken one. You are the one that's responding normally to an abnormal situation. But all that to be said, that was weirdly the best thing that ever happened to me, because it uprooted my life and ruined my life. But did it? Because it was, you know, when I finally quite literally got the courage and the balls to leave him and was at my fill, and sent him to jail and got my restraining order to fully, you know, and that process is a whole other thing that we could talk for hours about. But I just kind of took a step back at my life, and I was like, okay, what are we doing? Like, who are we? How did we let this happen? Like, why did it take you so long to leave? And the reason it took me so long to leave is I didn't feel like I had anything to live for, not even myself, to be honest. And the first thing that I could turn to that I knew was always there was comedy. And I was like, first things first, I don't think I should be doing PR. I need to be doing comedy. And then you start to look at the people that the company you're keeping, and you're like, well, these people aren't friends. I don't want to live here anymore. I don't like who I am as a person. I don't like that I just let myself be in a relationship like this for 3 years. And I don't think I would have started stand up without that. I think it gave me something to talk about. It lit a fire under my ass. It made me find myself, as cheesy as all of this sounds. But it's something kind of powerful happens when you're left with nothing.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
Yeah.
Literally. And luckily for me, I hit rock bottom when I was young enough to be able to build back up. And that's not to say that's not to say if you're older, you can't go through something like this. And that's not at all what I'm saying.
Always, yeah.
But I'm definitely glad that chapter and that relationship is left in my 20s. And now I'm 34 and like very happy with myself and doing what I love. But yeah, finding purpose is what got me out of that. Like I clung to comedy and never looked back. So
Do you mind just kind of sharing like some? And I know, like you said, it's textbook, right? But I'm sure that there are a lot of things that might seem easy to recognize for everyone that's outside of it, but when you're inside of it, like you said, it's just really hard, right? So what would you say is like some of the red flags?
yeah, first off, it's so common. It's like painfully common. Like statistically, if you sit at a bar one night, handful of people in that room, men, women, however they identify, or have gone through it, whether they're aware of it or not, whether they're cognizant of it or not. You know, I sat at a bar in Westchester a couple months ago, and I'm a couple years out of this relationship now too.
Okay.
And it was almost fateful. I just want to share this story because it was like weirdly fateful. I sat down, I decided to go out and get a drink. And even my mom was like, why are you going out? It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was like, I don't know. I just want to go have a drink and decompress. And she's like, okay. And this woman could have sat at any chair around the bar. And she was like, can I sit next to you? And it's a big bar. I said, sure, no problem. You know, mind you, like not to be sexist, but like when a man does that, I'm like, no.
I mean, obviously,
no. Like, go pick another fucking seat. You're ugly. Like, no. He's hot, maybe. But, you know, I'm like, no, not really. Like, you know, but a woman, I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I'm not going to think twice about that. That's just my personal experience, by the way. That's just how I identify. Or a gay, queer, non-binary person, I'm going to definitely feel more comfortable, personally.
Of course,
personally.
yeah.
And she sits next to me, and she starts crying as she's, like, on her phone. And I'm immediately like, okay, this is probably over a partner, probably over a breakup or something. And I joke with her and I'm like, whoever it is, not worth it. And she was like, oh my God, I know. And we start to talk. And as we start to talk, I see bruises on her arms, and I see bruises on her neck, and I see small scratches and things like that. And I mean, I was that girl. You know, I went to a bar one night in New York, and some girl was drunk, and she was like, why are you covered in bruises? And I was at the tail end of leaving my ex, so I straight up looked her in the face, and I was like, he did it. Like, because I was ready to like, and he was like, and I was like, well, what do you want me to say? I fell down the staircase again? Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you know, it's very, I immediately put two and two together, and then she starts opening up to me, and yeah, he's all these bruises all over her arms and neck, and suffer from him, and he loves me, and we love each other, and and you just realize love is truly not enough. And I'm not even talking in contexts of abuse. Like, love is the baseline, and love is not the warm and fuzzies and the chemistry and the sex and stuff like that. It's like, you have to believe that someone can love you and not do this. Those two things can like exist. Also, just as a baseline, like, somebody who loves you isn't going to do anything to harm you. It's just you have to rewire your brain. But yeah, so it's that common. And sometimes you're right, you don't realize it when you're in it. Like, first off, like, calling their ex crazy, massive red flag. Calling their ex the problem, huge red flag. Another red flag with abusers often is early in the relationship, they tell you everything terrible and traumatic that they've been through. And it's almost to like write off what they're about to do to you. So it's like, oh my God, my stepdad molested me, and my mom hit me, and I had a drug problem, and my dad wasn't around, and they just kind of, and I lost my mom, and I know it's a lot of this like front loading in a way, which is like what my ex did. And I have friends who did this too. Like, his stepdad molested him. His other dad wasn't around. He's got a weird relationship with his mom. Something else happened in his life, like certain things like that. And not always, obviously, but often that comes back to justify why they're doing what they're doing to you as well, too. Or there's always a justification. And at the end of the day, somebody harming you, there is no room for that in any relationship. Yeah. Friendship, romantic. You could rationalize it, and God knows I did. Oh, he pushed me into a wall. He had a couple drinks. Oh, okay, he didn't mean it. Oh, he slammed my hand in the door. Oh, he didn't realize that's what he was doing. Oh, it's a slow drip. It's not okay.
Yeah.
And also too, like, once it happens once,
it's going to happen again.
It's going to happen again and again and again, and it's only going to get worse. You know, just like cheating, just like anything else.
It's very interesting what you said about them sharing all those things, all that trauma.
Yeah.
Almost like, especially if they end up getting someone that like actually went through that stuff too. It's like that trauma bonding that they do.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. And it's very interesting because not many people
What's
think
funny is
about
I hadn't
that.
gone through anything like that.
But you probably felt bad, right?
Of course.
You were
I was this like
"Oh my
young,
God."
successful 20-something in New York. And I was like, he's older. Oh my God. He's lived a life. He's been divorced. His stepdad molested him. He's going through, like, it was like, sorry to cut you off, but like,
No,
yeah.
And then that helps justify it, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
no, they're doing that just because they don't know better and all of that. And it's like,
Yeah, and maybe that is. Maybe their abuse is. It probably is a result of or a symptom of what they went through. But that doesn't mean it's your burden to carry. And that doesn't mean that your safety gets to be like jeopardized. Like you can love, like, that's the hardest thing about leaving these partners is because you can love them. It's also, I have so many lessons about this and red flag. It's also never all bad. You do love that person.
yeah.
You do.
And they do love you.
They love you in their way that they think is love.
Yeah.
Like that they think is love. Like even, you know, like this woman at the bar was like, but we love each other and I've never felt anything like this since my ex-husband and oh my God, and it's this and he does this and he is that. I'm like, I believe all of that. I believe you. But I also believe the bruises I see on your arm. And like you have to just, it's really about choosing yourself at the end of the day. And just that's when I left him, I was just like, yes, I've never been in love like this before. I know this breakup is gonna kill me, nearly kill me. I don't want to go through this breakup. I don't want to restart. I don't want to go through this cycle again. But I looked at my mom and dad who have been married for 53 years. I looked at all the successful couples in my family and in my life where that isn't present. And I was like, so it does exist. I can find love like this that doesn't hurt like this. I just have to believe that even if it takes me a really long time. And like, I'm 6 years single now, like no boyfriend in 6 years, nothing really significant. There's been some significant guys and connections and people I like dated or what, like whatever, but no, nothing like that since him.
Is it because you tend to spot red flags in the beginning and maybe you're like, okay, I can't, like, I don't trust this person? Or is it because you just chose to like,
oh, I'm a rescue dog. I will start with that. Like I am, and I say that proudly. I say that as a joke and I say that proudly. Like you can't go through something like that and never, you're not going to be the same. And that's okay. Like, you know, with the highest, most positive and most negative things that we go through in life, like on either end of the spectrum, you're not going to be the same person on the other side of it. And that's how it should be, right? That would be crazy if you were. But yeah, for sure. And I'm rightfully so. Like the next guy I seriously date, it's going to take a lot of patience. I crash out sometimes. Like I disconnect. I put guards up. You know, intimacy gets weird for me sometimes. Like sex gets weird. I'll cry after it to myself in the back. Like it's because of everything that I've gone through. But all that to say, I wouldn't trade these thorns that I deal with now in the wake of that relationship, after that relationship, for what it did give me, which was this like sense of purpose, a higher calling, a reason to do comedy, which is for women primarily, but also like survivors, and you know, and a path forward and a path straight ahead, and you know what I mean. So like the good
in a way
always
to reach these people, because you never know when maybe like an audience person like that's like actually watching one of your shows
all the time. It happens.
You know, they might even be there with their partner, and their partner, of course, probably is a narcissist, won't even realize
It's about
you
them.
know
Yeah.
it's about them, but they will realize.
Yeah.
So you know, not only it kind of brought all those things, you know, for you, to you and to your career, but also you were bringing that out and you were putting it out there, and you were probably helping a lot of people.
I'm trying, and also they're helping me too. Like every time people come to a show and every time people laugh at anything, of course, thank you, but laugh at that material in particular, it's really cathartic and healing for me too. Yeah, I'll do those jokes forever, and even if it makes the entire room get really cringy and like freeze up, if one person comes up to me afterwards and is like, I just went through something similar, I just had to get a restraining order against somebody, I'm really going to, then it's worth it. It's always worth it. I think it's also important to know too that like when you go through situations like that, you really are not the problem. These people are manipulators and abusers. They're good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're good at what they do. So you're going to feel stupid and you're going to feel ashamed and embarrassed and how could I let this happen, or how do I get out of this? You're going to feel all the spectrum of emotion, but these people are abusers. Abusers abuse.
Yeah.
That's why you're in the situation you're in.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I've been through, like, never went that far, but I've been through situations that I'm like, oh my God, I never thought I would do this. And it sneaks up on you. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's, you gotta crawl out of that.
Yeah.
And
you
choose
crawl.
yourself.
Yeah.
And after that, and once you do it, like, you do it once, you're gonna keep doing it, just like you did with your comedy. Like you did it once and you're like, okay, I'm a bad bitch now. I'm gonna keep doing this comedy, and I'm gonna keep putting it out there. You had to go through that.
I will say what I think is, if you do the proper healing and you take care of yourself after situations like that, like even sometimes now I think of like trivial dating things that I go through, like really small insignificant things, and like to go back to like, what does it mean to be a bad bitch? Like sometimes I remember that I'm like, I literally left like a 3-year severely manipulative, severely abusive relationship, and not only got some level of justice from it, but he is far away from me and my life is totally different now and it fucking rocks. So I kind of like check myself and remind myself, I'm like, you can get through anything. You know what I mean? So I think if you get through it successfully and healthily, you also will never be in. I don't think I'll ever be in something like that again. I pray to God, but I really don't, because I'll know how to spot it.
And especially that you do the work, so you're not doing that to anyone else either.
Yeah.
Because that's all you know.
Very important.
That's the only way you know how to be in a relationship. So you end up like kind of searching for that, because it's just, you don't know how else to do it. Like
totally. Or you build yourself up too. I think when you go through like situations that are traumatic like that, whether it's partner abuse or it's just something else that really like rattles you, death, grief, anything, a health scare, whatever, I think the thing that protects you the best is you pouring into your own cup and like kind of increasing your own value, getting really comfortable, being good with yourself, spending time with yourself. And that's like the best protection ever from stuff like that, because like I can spot stuff from a mile away. I don't think I'll be with somebody who's abusive ever again. But I think more than anything, even if I God forbid, entertained it, I have enough. My cup runs over. I have enough to comfortably walk away now and be like, all right,
like it's not even like they probably come close to you and they don't even like, oh, I can't fuck with that.
I think so too. Yeah, you're right. I don't think I would attract a guy like that ever again. And I've attracted some fucking assholes, and I've attracted some fuckboys over the last, fuckboys are, please. Yeah. Well, fuckboys are just, here's the thing about fuckboys, and this is why you have to like pity fuckboys. I have a theory, and I really stand by this, that they crave it, connection and intimacy more than any other breed of douchebag, more than any other breed of guy. And then they get a taste of it and they're like, and that's when the games come in, and that's when the bullshit comes in, and the lashing out comes in, and the distance comes in, and everything else, because they haven't emotionally regulated. I always say that. I'm always like, I go, fuckboys are the lonely ones. I go, fuckboys are the saddest. That male loneliness pandemic is comprised of fuckboys who are just too busy with work right now.
I love that, too busy with work
right now.
Right?
Totally.
Right?
Okay, I haven't heard that one
Until
before.
the next one, and someone gets a hold of that, and then they're like suddenly married, engaged, whatever.
Broken. And I say this to even all my male friends. I mean, I have a good group of guy friends that I'm friends with, but I'm like, fix your shit now. Especially in your 30s. I'm like, take romantic chances. Put your heart out there. Commit. Fall. Get your heart fucking broken, whatever. Because if you don't, I feel like if you don't do it in your 20s and 30s, especially as a man, like now you're getting into your fucking 40s and 50s, and you're that guy who's dating the intern who's 21 years old because you can control her, and you're never going to commit to, like, then you become a loser. I'm sorry. The trajectory from fuckboy to loser is real quick. So if you don't use your 20s and 30s to have your heart broken and take those women to anybody, but specifically fuckboys,
build a resiliency. You gotta be resilient.
Build up your reserves, because if not, buddy, you're going to be that sad guy with a receding hairline in your 50s who hasn't had a girlfriend since 29 because his heart got broken once and he just can't do it again. Like, that's going to be you, and it's going to be real sad. You're going to be lapped by all your friends.
At that point, it's sad. It's not like an excuse anymore. Sorry.
Correct. Yeah. You can't be, New York City is full of men that are in their late 40s, mid 40s, and they're like, I'm just not looking to commit right now. I'm like, brother, you're dead. You're halfway to dead. What do you mean you're not looking to commit? Like, what are we doing? Like, your producer's laughing. But like, right? Like, I just don't want anything serious right now. I'm like, you had a colonoscopy last week. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? It's even in my age, like mid 30s, when they're like, I don't know, I just don't want anything serious right now. I'm like, buddy, I have a biological clock. You have an emotional maturity clock.
Yeah.
How are you mid-30s and you're like, I can't date someone because I might get hurt and I'm gonna be locked down, and it's such a turn off.
Yeah.
I don't care what risks you take when you're on a boys trip in fucking Spain. I don't give a fuck about that. I care about like the emotional risks you take. Like, you can't be 35 and be like, I don't want to get attached. Like, shut up.
Well, and this is why, like, sometimes people like the divorce guy sometimes, because you like he's gone through
I date divorced men all the time. They're amazing.
There's baggage, obviously, but they've gone through
baggage.
it.
Yeah,
Everyone has baggage.
baggage. Everyone has baggage. It's just, honey, it just depends on how it's decorated. That's it. Everyone has baggage. That's it. That's why I almost always date guys who have been engaged, divorced. Even my ex was like a divorced hen and had a kid with his ex-girlfriend and stuff, because like they've lived. The ex before that was going through a divorce with his high school sweetheart. Like, they've lived life. They're emotionally like calloused. Like, they're not afraid of big feelings and shit and real life shit. So they're like, you kind of can skip that little boy bullshit in the beginning.
So, well, going back to Miami.
Yes.
I know that you're putting together a movie, a doc, right?
Yeah.
About the comedy scene in Miami.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Thank you.
Because you don't see things like that being done in Miami, right? We see the big bad boy movies coming here and doing that kind of thing. For me, when I found out, I was like, this is so exciting. I have the film background, where I've done feature films and all sorts of things. For me, that was like, oh my God, it's so exciting. And it's so... such a courage too for you to be like, I'm gonna do this in Miami, and not only in Miami, but I'm gonna talk about comedy in Miami.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me a little bit about that project.
Yeah, it's Delulu, I think is what it is, to be honest. But thank you. Yeah, to your point about you see national fancy things all the time, I was just having a conversation with the owner of Finca, Elen Andrade. She's amazing. She owns Finca Amelia's 1931, Isla Canarias. Like, she's a badass. And we were just talking about Miami locals and Transplants' obsession with big and fancy chain things and national things and whatever, and kind of how we abandon local a little bit in Miami. And so it's a homegrown thing. In late 2022, I was Delulu, and I just was really happy with my comedy scene, and I never thought I'd be able to make a life down here as a comedian in Miami, and I was busy, and the scene was killing it and going through this like renaissance. And I was like, we should make a movie, we should make something, a special, a doc, like something that puts all of us in it, and who knows, like if it's good, we could see how far we could take it, and put our stand-up in there, interview people in there, let people who want to know what Miami's really about see it from the perspective of someone who grew up here and her eyes. And I left too. Like, I went away to college. I went to University of Florida. I lived in New York for 7 years. So see it from someone who left and came back and can really have like fresh perspective, fresh eyes on it. But yeah, we've been in production since late 2022. It's basically done. We have so much footage. We are currently crowdfunding on Indiegogo. It's called Muchacha.
So if you just search Muchacha, you can find it.
Muchacha, Indiegogo, Brittany Brave.
Add to the description too.
Amazing.
So yeah,
great. Yeah, Brittany Brave, Indiegogo, Muchacha, Indiegogo. Any of those combinations that'll come up. We're crowdfunding $10,000 just to get the initial like editor, colorist on board, so we can get like a first real full cut of all of this footage that we have over literally almost 3 years. And then we're going to, continue to raise money from local businesses and anybody who wants to be a part of this journey.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great opportunity to just, be part of something different.
Miami grown.
Like, something different, something that you don't see all the time, and kind of following that journey and, being an early supporter of that. Like, yeah, that's amazing.
Totally. And I plan to try to take this as far as I can, and then, like, for a lot of the comedians in the doc, it's their first IMDb credit, their first documentary credit, film credit, stuff like that. And, it's just kind of, who better to tell the story of Miami comedy than a Miami comedian and a Miami grown local. And yeah, like, I just kind of got like, there's something here to be captured about the city of Miami, really telling people what it's really like to grow up here and be from here, really telling people what it's like to try to become a comedian in a city that's not New York or LA. And like, I just was, selfishly, I was like, I'm based down here, I'm killing it, I'm working so hard, I'm trying to build things, run shows, whatever. If the industry isn't gonna come to us, I'm like, well, let's like fucking make a short film about us. Like, let's make our own thing and like bring it to them and take it as far as it can go. And we have a team now. I have an executive producer, Ali Edwards, on board. She's made many movies. She's made stuff for Netflix and HBO and Paramount Plus, and she's my guardian angel on this project. She's like taken it, believes in it as much, if not more, than I do. And she's like, no, here's the game plan. Here's what we're doing. Here's the amount of money we need. You need people like that. Sometimes it's okay as a creative to step away from your own stuff, I think, and like need like an objective perspective. I was everything with no filmmaking experience. I was EP, director, producer, fucking PA. Like I was like, what am I making? It was but I knew I had something there, and I knew I didn't want to give up on it as much as I was ramming my head in the wall, because I was like, there is a story here, and there's stories with these Miami comedians, and there is something very different, whether you love it or not, about Miami. So let's capture it. So yeah, it's going to come out in 2026. We're going to hit all the festivals that we can. We're going to hopefully get this thing sold. But right now, we definitely need
help, right?
We need money. Movies are expensive. We need money.
They're very expensive. Yeah. I've gone through those, crowdfunding experiences, and
stressful.
It was stressful, but it was very crucial for my career, for me to get where I am. And I'm very grateful to the people that actually supported me.
Yeah, me too.
And those are the people that I remember. So, I would say we definitely need to support you on this, because I feel like it shows a side of Miami that, maybe the locals are not always trying to put out there.
Yeah.
But I do know that our community, they do appreciate. So I know they're going to appreciate the content of I actually saw a little bit of it. It's amazing already.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna really like it. So I'm excited to see it.
Thank you.
And actually, I am.
That's my merch.
The merch, it says ovulating, which is why did you pick that?
It's like one of my jokes. I've always talked about ovulation. I talk a lot about birth control and abortion. Like, one of my opening lines is like, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I'm ovulating. And like, it's always stuck. So I made merch out of it. And also, while I'm on the podcast, if you are free, Sunday, November 16th at the Miami Improv, we are doing a fundraising show. It's just straight stand up. It's not like Bad Bitch Brunch, but everybody that's anybody just about in Miami comedy is on it. So yeah, it's like an all-star pop-up mini little comedy festival. Okay. Ellie Rodriguez, Ricky Cruz, Gene Harding, Luis Diaz, Carlos Hernandez, Neri Science, Lisa Correa, Freddie Stebbins, anybody who's in the movie and that you recognize from Miami stand-up and comedy is on it, and 100% of the proceeds from the show are going to the movie. So you get a great show, and it's truly like an all-star South Florida comedy lineup. So it's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. That is amazing. That's the place to be.
November 16th. Yeah, there's 2 shows too, an early 6 p.m. and an 8 p.m.
Okay.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this conversation, and thank you for being so open and receptive of the transplants, because it is not always easy here, for us.
I'm a reverse transplant. Like, I was from here, but not. I was from here, but then I moved to New York, but then I came down in the pandemic, so then everybody thought, like, oh, you're just another New Yorker. And I was like, no, I have Kendall tattooed on my titty. Like, I am not just another New Yorker. So, yes. Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yay, we did it.
Coffee on my shirt and all. This is so fun.